Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka ala al-mab'uthi rahmatan lil alameen. Nabiyyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Amma ba'd. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to this new episode of Ask Huda, broadcasting to you live from Cairo and not from Jeddah. And it's been a long time since I've come to this blessed city. May Allah Azza wa Jal bless it and the people living in it and all our viewers as well. Ameen. Before we get your questions, I have a number of pending questions from the email. So Dua says, I want to buy from a website, and can I pay for it with my credit card, and after that in few days time I'll receive it? Is this permissible? We talked, if you remember, a lot about credit cards, and the action of buying through a credit card, providing that you pay within the grace period and there's no possibility for you not to pay, this is permissible, providing a number of conditions. For example, if you pay an interest over what the actual dress is costing you, then this is riba. Why is that? Because you're actually borrowing through this credit card. You're not buying something from your own bank account. You're actually telling the Visa Corporation or the MasterCard or the Carte Blanche or the American Express you're authorizing them to buy something on your behalf, pay for it, and then you will pay them back. Now, they usually give a grace period where they will not charge you any interest. So if they do not charge you any interest and you pay immediately or soon afterwards, and without any possibility of you indulging in riba, then this is okay. Secondly, the actual fees or membership that or subscription you pay for these credit cards, they have to be realistic. So if you pay like $30 a year, $50 a year as a subscription, this is reasonable. Scholars say this is within range. But if you pay more than that, then this is actual benefits, actual interest over the loans they're giving you. Thirdly, you should not withdraw cash with it. So sometimes people use it as an ATM. And when you use a credit card as an ATM, when you draw $1,000, they'll charge you a fixed amount, maybe it's $10 plus or minus. So this $10 is considered to be an interest, a riba. Because again, you're not withdrawing from your own bank account, you're actually borrowing. So whether you borrow $1 or you borrow 100,000, whatever extra you pay, that would be considered to be riba. So in a nutshell, if you already have a credit card and whenever you buy something, you buy it and you have already authorized your bank to withdraw the amount from your bank account before the grace period is over, so there's no possibility for you to pay riba, then this is permissible, inshallah. Abdullah says, I'm a Muslim and my parents are Christians. If my parents die as disbelievers, is it permissible for me to take the house in which they've lived before if they leave it verbally to me as a gift? First of all, the Prophet said, ﷺ, a Muslim does not inherit a kafir, a disbeliever, and a disbeliever does not inherit a Muslim. So this hadith, the majority of scholars all agree upon, it's authentic, there's no loopholes here or there. You cannot go anywhere else. However, the scholars say that there is a difference between inheritance and a will. A will is in the same category of a gift. So if they write in their will that after our death, this much of our money goes to our Muslim son or our Muslim daughter, this is permissible. Some scholars limited it to 1/3, because in Islam, you cannot write a will to someone who's not inheriting you for more than a third of your possessions. Anything that is more, this is void. Anything that is one third and less, it's okay. So scholars say that if this disbeliever parent of yours did not have anyone to inherit from their own religion, in this case, it is permissible for you to take the whole will if they write everything to you, not as an inheritance, but as a will. If they did not write a will, you cannot inherit a single penny of them, because the hadith is crystal clear. Now in your case, Abdullah says that they verbally had given her the house, and the gift cannot be materialized until it is taken and possessed by the one given to. So as long as they did not register to you the house and said that yes, the house is yours and we are writing a registration and transferring it to your side, as long as it is verbal, then we have to look into it whether it is a will or it is a gift. As a gift, it's not permissible because they did not register it and they did not give it to you to possess. As a will, we have to see if there are witnesses or not, because each one of us could claim that yes, my father gave me this or that. If the authorities in your country, non-Muslim country, do believe you and take your word for it, and you are saying the truth, inshallah, this is valid and you can go ahead and take it. We have a caller, Sister Sabah from Canada. Yes, sister.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam.
Okay, so, brother, I have two questions. My first question is about a lady. She is basically all alone in this world, and she's never married, so she has no children. Her parents have passed away, so have her brothers and sisters who were never married. So she's all alone in the world. The only blood relative that she has is her paternal aunt's 2 sons and 3 daughters. And the only asset that she has is the house she lives in. So she wants to make a will after she passes away. So somebody told her that it only goes to the male members of the family. Some said it only goes like 2 parts male, 1 part female. So we are getting various different things. So I was just wondering if you can guide me so that I could tell her what she should do for the house that she lives in after she passes away.
Okay, the second question?
Okay. And my second question is, since I live in the West, Sheikh, and I always keep on halal and haram, I call up the companies to ask them that if the product has any alcohol or anything. And one of the answers I got from one of the companies, they said, was that our product does not contain alcohol, but in the process of manufacturing, alcohol was used. And the final product has very minute or maybe untraceable amounts of alcohol in it, like maybe 0.001 or something like that left. So somebody said to me, that's fine because it's not traceable. Maybe it was used in the initial and stuff like that, but I was not satisfied with that. So I just want to know, what is the ruling in which the final product does not have alcohol, but still alcohol was used in the manufacture?
Okay, what is the product?
Sheikh, it is ice cream.
Okay. I will answer your question, inshallah. Inshallah.
Yeah, it's ice cream, cakes and cookies, stuff like that.
Okay, I will answer your question, inshallah. Okay, Sister Sabah from Canada had 2 questions. And the first question was that this sister has no blood relatives except her cousins from her paternal aunt, which means that they do not relate to her by a name. So they are the sons of someone else. So Islamically, when there are others, these people are blocked. Anyone from your mother's side, that is your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, your grandfather from your mother's side is being blocked. Now, when it comes to such a scenario where the only people to inherit you there are no one to inherit you, and the money would go to the treasury of the non-Muslim country you're living in. In this case, the scholars differed. Some of them say it should go to the treasury of the Muslim land, which is not applicable here. And others say, no, we look to the closest relative, even from ulul arham, those who come from your mother's side, and in this case, her cousins from her aunt, paternal aunt, and it will be distributed to them. Whether the males and the females would inherit or only the males, at the moment I don't have an answer. I don't know. Sorry. So if you write me, inshallah, I'd look into it, and I will come back to you and email you the answer with the grace of Allah Azza wa Jal. We have a caller. Sister Shayba from Mauritius. Okay. I'm not going to spell this. I don't know how to do it.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Yes, Sister Shayba.
One of the previous programs, you mentioned that in Pakistan and in India, people seem to perform a lot of nawafils, but you didn't quite finish that line of thought. We'd appreciate if you could provide some clarification on that.
I didn't understand your question. I didn't understand your question, Sister Shayba. Can you repeat that again? If Pakistan and India did what?
You mentioned that in Pakistan and India, people perform a lot of nawafil.
Okay.
But then you didn't follow that line of thought.
Yes,
you didn't have time, I think, to finish that sentence or that process that you were talking about.
Okay.
So we'd appreciate if you could provide some clarification on that.
Okay.
What did you want to say, or what is there that is not right, or that is right about the nawafil that people perform in Pakistan or in India?
I will do that, inshallah. Jazakallah khair for reminding me. Okay, second question?
And the second question is, I've been reading a book about a hadith Qudsi, and it seems to mention in there that it would be better for people who do not perform ruqya. They'll be able to enter paradise without having to render any account.
Okay.
So my question is, what about people who perform ruqya, as in read Surah Fatiha, blow in water, and then use that water, or read some surah and then blow it over themselves when they are sick, or any other type of ruqya that is actually being performed? What is your thinking on that?
Okay, I'll answer your question, inshallah. Brother Muhammad from Japan. Okay, konnichiwa. Yes, Brother Muhammad.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm with you, Akhi. Your question.
Check is on?
Yes, I am on, inshallah. I hope I'm not off yet.
Okay, assalamu alaikum.
Salamatullah.
My wife, both are reverted Muslims.
Okay.
We are Japanese. And we have kids. Last year, I went to Bangladesh for a field research. And there I met a family. In that family, there was a sister divorced. Okay. There was no reason for her divorce actually, but the fact was she was divorced. And then after consulting with my wife, I just found that I can financially help her if I go for marry her. But my concern is, according to Japanese law, I will not be able to bring her to Japan because Japanese law does not allow a second marriage. I can go and visit her every year for 2 months at least, or 1 month every 5 months.
Okay.
Now my question is, according to Islam, I have to give both my wife, if I really marry her, equal right. But in this case, I cannot stay with her equally, and at the same time, money spent on both will differ because of the living standard differs between Bangladesh and Japan. That sister's family is okay if I ask her for marriage, knowing all the conditions. But I am afraid if I am going against Quran and Sunnah because of these conditions. I do not want to destroy my Islam by taking a bigger burden. Can you please advise me on this regard? I am seeking your honest opinion.
Inshallah. Dr. Muhammad, you did not get my email? I got your question through my website and I sent it like 10 days ago.
Oh, no, I did not get. Sorry,
okay.
I didn't get the
Okay, my bad. I'll answer your question, inshallah. Sister Asma from the UAE.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, not the last Saturday, the previous Saturday, you were saying something about how the Asians say their prayers.
Yes, I just got a question, and I will inshallah.
No, it's not actually a question. I wanted you were telling us something, not this Saturday, the previous Saturday, saying that how the Asians say their prayers. You were saying something about our prayers.
Okay.
And
okay, I will answer your question, Sister Asma. Any more? No more, inshallah. I'm not a doctor, Yakhi. Jazakallah khair. Okay, Sabah from Canada, the second question was, during the process of some sweets, such as ice cream and etc., in the process they may use alcohol to dissolve some of the materials that is involved in making this ice cream. And the end product is like 0.10. Let me tell you something that should be taken as a rule. For example, I drink beer, and I'm proud of that. But the beer I drink, before you quote me for that, is from Saudi Arabia, and it has like 2%, maybe 3% alcohol. And it's legal, and it's halal. One says, oh, it has alcohol. Akhi, if I drink half a pack, nothing happens. It's the same thing. It doesn't affect the person. It does not intoxicate a person. Therefore, it is not the percentage of alcohol that counts. It is the end product, meaning that if there is an XYZ drink, and if you drink 1 bottle of it, nothing happens. But if you drink 4 bottles of it, it intoxicates you, then just a sip of it is haram. And the Prophet said, whatever intoxicates a lot of it, then a little bit of it would be intoxicating and forbidden as well, and not permissible. Therefore, what you're asking about is completely halal, and you have no problem in eating that ice cream. Just beware not to eat a lot of it. It's bad for your weight, and it's bad for your throat as well. Shayba from Mauritius, she says that you said something a couple of weeks ago or last week, and also Asma is asking for the same question. And yes, it was a break. I didn't have any questions. I ran out of questions of the email, so I was waiting for calls. Nobody called. Alhamdulillah, they don't like the program apparently, or they don't like the Sheikh. Who cares? I was talking about something that always astonished me about the people from the subcontinent. MashaAllah, tabarakallah, they are so observant to their nawafil. You rarely see someone from India, Bangladesh, or Pakistan missing his nawafil. And the Prophet says, 12 rak'ahs. 12 rak'ahs during the day and the night. Whoever observes them, Allah would build him a house in paradise. And when I come to see my fellow Arabs and other Muslims, and the way they neglect, and I'm one of them, the way they probably miss 1 or 2 every now and then, out of laziness, out of wanting to leave the masjid, out of it, brings question marks about our commitment to Islam. I brought this as an introduction to say that we have a problem with the people from the subcontinent when it comes to praying in the masjid. In Fajr prayer, they have this common mistake. They come late to the masjid, the imam is in the first rak'ah reciting the Fatiha. Instead of joining the congregation, they go and pick a pillar of the masjid and pray 2 rak'ahs of sunnah. And sometimes they miss the first rak'ah of the congregation prayer because of this. Well, this is what I wanted to advise my brothers and sisters, that their prayer, when the imam has started, well, actually before that, their prayer, when the mu'adhin has given the iqamah for the salat, is invalid. The Prophet ﷺ said, when the prayer is being called for, that is after the iqamah, there is no prayer valid except the mandatory prayer, the one that it has been called for. So you cannot and you should not hear the iqamah and start your sunnah prayer. It is invalid, because what's mandatory upon you is to join the congregation, to be in the first row if you can, and to attend the first takbirah if you can. This is what I wanted to say, with all admiration and love to the brothers and sisters from the subcontinent. Another phone call. Yes. Shu'aib from Algeria. Labas ya Shu'aib. Yes, brother.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, how are you?
I'm fine. Jazakallah khair for asking, akhi.
Sheikh, I love you for the sake of Allah.
May Allah love you as well. Jazakallah khair.
Thank you. My question is, if a person dies and his brother wants to go to Hajj for him, and if the brother hasn't been to Hajj before, can he go for him?
Okay.
And the second question is in regard to inheritance.
Okay.
That is, somebody dies, he's a Muslim,
Mm-hmm.
both of his parents are all alive, and one of his brothers said the brother has made a will, but
Okay.
none of them witnessed it. So he took the will after the death of his brother. Is he legally allowed to take all the will that his brother left or not?
What do you mean by his brother came and said that his deceased brother made a will? A will of 1/3 or of what? How much?
No, he said the brother told him to take everything that is left, that he has, because he has a misunderstanding with both of his parents and the other sisters that he has. So she did it, maybe when he was furious, I don't know. And I don't know, we told the brother to give up because he is not entitled to them, because the Quran has made it clear to us that if somebody dies, he has no wife and children, the parents are the first people to inherit him. So I don't think he should do that. But
Okay.
he's not giving up.
Okay.
So I just want you to advise him, because I know he's watching at the moment.
Okay.
So I want you to advise him
Okay.
on that.
Okay.
And my last question, Sheikh, if I'm permitted.
Yes, Yahi. Yes, Yahi. Your question.
Possessing gold, is it allowed, permissible, for a woman to possess a lot of gold or diamonds or something like that? Is it allowed or not?
Is it allowed for a woman to have a lot of gold?
Yeah, I have a lot of gold.
If I can have a lot of gold, I would have. What's wrong with that? I'll answer your question, Akhi. I will answer your question. Osama from Libya. Brother Osama from Libya.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaykum assalam, Akhi.
I would like to ask you a question, Sheikh.
Inshallah.
Yes, I am trying to invite a person from Nigeria to Islam. During my discussion with him, he told me that the only prophet who did not commit a sin is Jesus, which is Isa alayhi salam. I told him that all the human being is undergoing to commit a sin, because we are a human.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So he told me, what's your proof? What's your proof that Jesus made a sin, commit a sin?
Okay. Okay, I will answer your question, inshallah, Osama.
This is another question, Sheikh.
Yes.
Yes, in Surah Al-Naml, Allah, when the Prophet Moses went to Al-Wadi Al-Muqaddas Tuwa, Allah told him, said, Ya Musa, innahu ana Allah al-Aziz al-Hakim.
I don't know what this.
And in Surah Al-Qasas, in the same situation, in the same case, when Moses went to Al-Wadi Al-Muqaddas Tuwa, Allah called him as well and told him, Ya Musa, innahu ana Allah al-Rahman al-Rahim.
Ya akhi, okay.
Yes, we all understand that Allah has the name Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, and Allah is Al-Aziz Al-Hakim. But what happened is exactly what Allah exactly told Moses. Did he tell him, I am Allah Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, or Allah and Allah Al-Aziz Al-Hakim? Which one of them?
Okay. Okay, we have a short break, and afterwards, inshallah, I'll try to answer the questions before the time is over, so stay tuned.
I really like the example he gives in that clip about the guy stuck in traffic. You know, he thinks that it's just, it takes it personal, which brings us to the point that a pessimist is very subjective when it comes to negative things that happens in his life.
But for example, if you are talking to me about doing something good in life and you are on the bed of death, that you want to do something for your ummah. This is why we did this program, to make you get your achievable goals before you reach the moment that you will not be able to achieve anything.
SubhanAllah, if I may add.
If I have a positive attitude, and if I have courage, why it doesn't appear in all the problems that I face? Why it doesn't appear in all what I do in my life? Actually, because you are not responsible enough to control your mindset.
I was reading a study on New York government. They wanted to improve the crime rate. They wanted to lower the crime rate, ultimately. And they found that in the subways, there was a lot of graffiti, a lot of trash. And just by doing a little thing, like removing the trash and removing the graffiti and making a more clean environment, the crime rate actually lowered. So this shows the power that how little things can really make a big difference.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. Shayba from Mauritius had a question regarding the hadith where the Prophet tells us ﷺ, that 70,000 of my ummah will enter Jannah, will enter paradise without accountability and without any torment. And then he explained ﷺ, by saying or giving the characteristics of these 70,000. And he said that they are the people who do not seek ruqya, and they do not cauterize, and they do not believe in bad omen, and they have full trust and dependence on Allah Azza wa Jal. So she's asking about ruqya, and this concept of ruqya is a bit confusing to some of the brothers and sisters, and they keep on thinking that, okay, to do it or not to do it. First of all, it is permissible to be done, whether you to yourself or someone else to you through your request or without your request. Now, the hadith is talking about people that have these four characteristics that display their full trust in Allah Azza wa Jal. So if I'm sick and I tell my friend, Akhi, do ruqya for me, recite some ayahs for the Quran, so that would be a means of healing for me, this means that my dependence is not 100% true on Allah Azza wa Jal. I know that only Allah cures, but I still, my heart is a bit inclined towards this sheikh or to this raqi or to this scholar to recite Quran, and maybe I'll find my healing through that. Is it haram? No, not at all. But it does not qualify you to be among the 70,000. Now, what is permissible is for me to do ruqya for myself. I do that all the time. That doesn't mean I'm sick all the time, but every now and then you get my pitch. The second thing is that I do it for someone else, and this is a-okay without his request. The Prophet says, whoever can benefit his brother, he should do so. So I go to a friend, a relative who's sick, and I give him ruqya without him asking. The third category is I go and say to people, come and recite Quran for me and give me ruqya. And this is not recommendable, though it is permissible, entirely permissible. You can go to some sheikh who is known to do ruqya if you have possession of jinn, evil eye, black magic, envy, the whole 9 yards. It's permissible. Is it recommended? The answer is no. So I hope this answers your question. Muhammad from Japan, he had sent me this question earlier and I've answered it, but probably due to some problems with the emails which we usually get so often. Muhammad's question is, the answer is easy. If your first wife allowing you to do this, her permission is not something that we look up to, meaning that it's not decisive. I cannot get married without my first wife's approval. No one would get married again then if it's dependent on the first wife approvals, because definitely no one would give you that unless she has a problem. But if your question is, one, I'm going to spend a month to 2 months in Bangladesh and the rest is in Japan. Okay, if your second wife, because she's the one who's being harmed by this, she says, I demand equality, I demand fairness and justice. You demand fairness and justice? I'm not going to marry you. The only way I can marry you is that I spend a month to 2. This is my annual vacation. This is the research time allocated by my Japanese government or university to spend in Bangladesh. How is that? If she says, okay, 8 weeks is better than nothing. I need a man. I need a husband. I need someone to talk to. I need someone to share my feelings. And he cannot have it 6 months, 6 months. He would have wished that he could get her back to Japan with him, but the law does not permit him to do so. So if she approves it, it's okay. Now about what you spend, akhi, there's a difference between what you give as a gift and what you spend as allowance. I have 2 kids. One goes to the university and one is in kindergarten. Do I give them the same pocket money? Definitely not. This one needs much more than the other one. But when it comes to giving gifts, so in Eid, I give every one of my children money. So I have to give the one that is married, my daughter who is married, and the one who is still 3 or 4 years of age, I still give them the same amount because this is a gift. So allowance, provision, what if I operate, if I take my wife to hospital and I pay an arm and a leg for an operation, the second wife doesn't have the right to say, listen, you have to give me the same money, because this is different than that. So I hope this makes it clear. We have a caller, Abdul Wahid from Libya. Yes. Wa alaikum salam.
I have 2 questions.
Mm-hmm.
My one question regarding about beard.
Beard, okay.
I just want to know, if you leave your beard, how reward you'll get to get from Subhanahu wa Ta'ala.
Okay.
And if you cut it, how punishment you are going to get it from Allah. And my second question is it permissible for a woman to kill animal, maybe in the name of Allah or something like that, maybe, and is it permissible?
To kill an animal or a man?
To kill a woman, to kill an animal.
An animal? To sacrifice, you mean?
No.
Huh. What to do what?
Maybe not to sacrifice. To kill for, maybe for family to eat it.
To kill for?
For family.
To do what? Yani, an animal like a dog, like a dog?
No, like animal, like fowl, goat. Hello? Fowl, goat, cow.
Yes, you have to slaughter. How can she kill? Kill by a shotgun? This is not halal. If you have the... Okay, I will answer the question, inshallah.
Bye. Jazakallah khair.
Hayyak Allah. Shada from Saudi Arabia. Shada from Saudi Arabia.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
How are you, Sheikh?
Hayyakum Allah.
We love you, Sheikh, for the sake of Allah.
Jazakum Allah khair.
Okay, Sheikh, I have one question. If I have 90 grams of gold, so how I should give zakah, for extra 5 grams or for 90 grams?
Okay, I will answer the question, inshallah. Any more questions?
And I have one more doubt. If I have newly buy some gold, just 1 month before, so I have to give that zakah include in this year, or I can give next year?
Okay. I will answer your question inshallah.
Okay, jazakallah khairan.
وجزاك أهلا وسهلا. Sahal from Saudi Arabia. Brother Sahal.
Hey, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullah.
How are you, Sheikh?
I'm fine, jazakallah khair akhi.
Allah yasallimak. Sheikh, I have actually I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
Question number one, now for the lady, there is like a bit debate on the covering her face,
Okay.
right? So is it like they have to cover the entire face and everything from in front of non-mahram, or how is it?
Okay. Second question.
Second question is in ihram as well. So it's like they don't need to cover their face and hands. So this is in front of mahram or like strangers, or it's like, you know, there is like it's not clear for me what.
I will clarify it inshallah with the grace of Allah.
Okay. And the third one is if one of my sisters are coming from India, okay, and for Umrah, the purpose of the visit is Umrah. Now on her plan, like she gets like menses, so what she needs to do? Like she's coming with the family, all the family together, and they have a problem on the menses now.
Okay.
So from where she should wear the ihram?
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay. Jazakallah khair, sir. Sister Aisha from Saudi Arabia.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, I have 3 questions.
Okay.
First one is it permissible to read Dua Khatmul Quran after completing the whole Quran?
Okay.
And second is, can we make a dua after reciting the Quran? Every day we read the Quran, then after the reading Quran, can we make dua?
Okay.
And third one is, if we sit after 2 rakah witr by mistake, then can we offer sajda sahu or not?
Come again. If you pray 2 rak'ahs witr or shafa'?
No, if we make intention of 3 rakah witr and we sit after 2 rakah by mistake.
Okay.
Can we make sajda sahu or not?
Okay. I will answer your
Thank
question,
you.
inshallah.
Thank you.
Jazaki. We have 10 minutes to go. We have 20 minutes, akhi. Anyhow. Yalla, ma nakhtalif, inshallah. Shu'aib from Al-Jazairi says that a brother died and his brother would like to make hajj for him, but this brother did not perform hajj for himself. Is it permissible? The answer is no. The Prophet ﷺ said, heard someone saying, Labbaik Allahumma hajjan an Shubruma. So he said, who's Shubruma? And he said, a brother of mine. And the Prophet said, ﷺ, did you perform hajj for yourself? And the man said, no. And then the Prophet said, perform hajj for yourself, on behalf of yourself, and then perform hajj on behalf of Shubruma, which means that it is not permissible for someone to perform hajj or umrah on behalf of someone else if I personally did not perform it in the very beginning, and Allah knows best. Then he says that someone is listening, someone is watching, and this someone, his brother died, leaving no wife, no children, but leaving his parents. So we know that if a person dies and his parents are alive and he has no offspring, the mother takes 1/3 and the father takes the remaining, and nothing goes for the siblings. So the brother, the sibling, actually went and took everything that his brother who had died, he took everything to himself. And I'm saying, well, this is haram, and whatever you're consuming is haram, and you've committed an act of aggression, and you've defied the laws of the Quran by depriving your parents from this money. And what kind of person are you? You deprive your parents from their God-given right, which was mentioned in the Quran, and you simply go and take your brother's wealth and possession. This is totally prohibited, akhi, and if you don't give it back, every penny of it, you will be tortured on the day of judgment through this. And Brother Shaib's last question saying that, what's your ruling on women acquiring gold? Women are like men, akhi. If I give you 100 kgs of gold, would you say, astaghfirullah, this is haram? Oh, you say, hallelujah, I'll take it and give you a kiss on the cheek for that. So women are like men. There's nothing wrong in them possessing and acquiring and taking and keeping as much gold as they want, providing that they give the zakat. This is Allah's right in whatever you own. So 2.5 every single year on whatever exceeds 85 grams of 24 karat gold. This is what is a must. Osama from Libya, he's saying that his Nigerian friend says that Jesus was the only one who did not make a sin. Akhi, were you there? Were you with Jesus? How would you know? So, I've read this and I've read that. All of this, would do all respect, is worthless. Now, we are the only nation. We, the Muslims, are the only nations that believes in Jesus, Moses, Abraham, Adam, with all the messages of Allah. We haven't seen any of them. You also believe in most of them. You haven't seen any of them. I believe that they have brought so many miracles to the world. You believe that as well. However, if I were to tell you, show me Jesus Christ miracles, you'd fail to show me a single one. Likewise with Moses, with David, with Solomon, with Noah, with Abraham. We have nothing left of their miracles. So we only depend on our scriptures. Now, as Muslims, we have the noble Quran in our hands. A miracle that's been there for 14 centuries. We can show it to the whole world. It's in the same native language that it was revealed in. And the people over hundreds of millions of Arabs speak the same language, and they can read it and understand it. So when you tell me that my scriptures say this or that, I'll tell you, provide me with your original scripture. Don't provide me with a translation of a translation of a translation of manuscripts that are not existing anymore. And how many versions do you have? I'm not going to go into this. Tell your Nigerian friend to believe in Allah, the Almighty, the creator of the heavens and the earth, and only then he would find his salvation. Brother Osama was asking me about verses. I think he's mixed up with some of them, but the essence of his question is, if the incident is one, why is Allah Azza wa Jal describing himself in one story as Rabbul Alameen and in another story Al-Aziz Al-Hakim, for example? And all of these are Allah's attributes. So the same story happened, and Allah Azza wa Jal is telling us these stories in a miraculous way, an elegant a way of saying it, and it has the same meaning. And one would easily say, did Allah speak it in Arabic? Was Musa speaking Arabic? Why is it in Arabic? This is a hypothetical question. Now, Allah is telling us about the incident, and He's telling it to us in different ways, but it has the same meaning. So whether we describe Allah as Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, Ar-Rab, Al-Aziz, Al-Hakim, all of these are Allah's attributes. So what is the difference in Allah Himself telling us about Himself in different ways? I see that it adds value and has no room for any misconceptions. Abdul Wahid from Libya says, what's the reward for growing the beard, and what's the punishment for not? This is something that Allah did not disclose to us. As for punishment, we know that the Prophet tells us that the least person to be punished and tormented in the hellfire is a person that a stone of fire is to be put in his sandals. From its heat, his brain would boil. This is the minimum punishment in fire. So if you want to go and grade shaving the beard one of the sins punishable, then the punishment would be at least this. Allah knows best whether it's more or not. He's asking about a woman killing an animal, and I think he's saying that what's the ruling on a woman sacrificing or slaughtering an animal. So we as Muslims cannot eat an animal that lives on land except through two means: either by slaughtering that animal if it's a domestic animal, or an animal that we can eat. I don't expect people to bring a pork or a pig and say Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, and slaughter it. We slaughtered it. No, there are animals that's haram for us, even if you slaughter them 10 times. And the second means of us to eat an animal is by shooting it, by hunting it. So a lot of the Muslims have this misconception that women cannot slaughter. It's not befitting to them and not befitting to us to eat what they slaughter because they have the menses, they're najis. This is completely wrong and inaccurate. A woman can slaughter. A woman is exactly like a man in all her forms of worship, except what the shara, what the law says, she's different. But she can slaughter, she can cook. Well, if she can cook, I cannot cook then. If someone would ask you, what's the ruling on the sheikh cooking cheeseburgers and hot dogs? Because this is a woman's job. It's not. So don't get too technical. As long as Islam did not say and comment and forbid such a thing, it is by default halal. Shada, a few questions. Before that, she says, I love you for the sake of Allah. A woman is not permitted to go and say to the sheikh or to the alim or to whomever I am, even if I'm as old as your grandfather, this doesn't entitle you to say, I love you for the sake of Allah. This is something, don't say it to the sheikh, because shaitan is there. No one is perfect. So if someone comes and she says this and I'm having sleepless night for a couple of weeks, it's your sin. So this is not permitted for a man to go to one of the sisters da'is and say, oh sister, I love you for the sake of Allah. How dare you, sheikh? No, the same goes the other way around. 90 grams of gold. A lot of the Muslims think that due to the fact that the nisab is 85 grams and above, so they say, okay, if I have 90 grams, this means I pay zakat for 5 grams only, and the 85, the nisab is not. No. Whatever exceeds 85, the whole thing is zakatable. But if you have 84 grams, there is no zakat. If you have 86 grams, you have to pay for 86 grams, and it has to be that is 24 karat of gold. So if you have gold that is 16 karat, this means that it has with it 8 karat of copper or other material, which means it's not pure. In this case, even if you have 16 karat of gold, there's no zakat on it, because it's still missing. It's actually maybe 70 plus grams of 24 karat gold. So you have to take it to the goldsmith or to the jeweler shop, and he would calculate how much exactly 24 karat gold in this, and if it's 85 and more, you have to give zakat. She says that a month ago I bought gold. So do I have to pay for it now when my old gold is due? And the answer is no. It's nisab, it's time, or it's hawl, you have to pay 1 year afterwards. So if I bought it last month, and that was like in Jamad al-Ula, then next year, 11 months from today, I have to pay it. But if it's convenient for you, and this is convenient for me, I don't have 12 months wallets. Every payroll I get, every paycheck, I put what exceeds in it, and then every month, the following year, I say, okay, I have to give 2.5%. Life is horrible this way. So the only way to do it is to set a designated day, which is the first month. So even if I get my paycheck a month ago, I would come today and look at how much I have in my bank account. I give 2.5% on the total. And this way, I could care less what came in and what went out. Every single year, on that particular designated date, I would give 2.5%. Sahal, saying that there is a dispute in covering a woman's face, and this dispute reflected on another problem, is that when a woman goes for Hajj, then she's told and ordered to unveil her face, and this is wrong. There is nothing in Islam that tells a woman to uncover. There is in Islam an order for a woman not to wear the niqab, which is like the ninja mask or the Zorro mask, where you leave an opening for the eyes. This is permissible. But in Hajj, when in the state of Ihram, you're not allowed to wear this, but you may cover the whole face, and this is what Aisha and Asma, may Allah be pleased with them, used to do. And he's asking also about a woman coming for Ihram, but she gets her menses, she did not perform Ihram. If she lands in Jeddah after she's clean, she goes back to her miqat. So if she's coming from India, she goes back to Taif, wears her ihram in her home, goes to Taif, says labbaik Allahumma umrah, and come back and do her Umrah. Aisha says, what's the ruling on a dua khatm al-Quran? It's not part of the sunnah. The dua itself, which is at the cover of the book of the Quran, some copies, this is not part of the sunnah. It is not attributed to Ibn Taymiyyah as well. To have dua after you conclude the whole Quran, this was done by Anas ibn Malik, may Allah be pleased with him. He used to gather his offspring and he used to, after reciting the whole Quran, finish it from cover to cover and make some dua. This is a doing of Sahabi. If you want to do that, inshallah, there's nothing wrong to it. Making dua after every single time you read the Quran in your home, on daily basis, this is an innovation. Sitting after the second witr is either 1 or 3 without sitting in the middle. Sitting in the middle like Maghrib, this is a hadith. There's a hadith, an authentic, that the Prophet ﷺ forbade from that. Simulating a witr, 3 rak'ahs in one go like Maghrib. So you have to pray the 3 rak'ahs only sitting at the third and last rak'ah. In your case, if you're praying one single rak'ah as witr, and by mistake you add another one to it, this second rak'ah is void. You sit, complete your prayer, offer salam, and then offer 2 processions of tashahhud. If you're asking about praying it 3 in a row and sitting by mistake, and then you remember you have to stand up immediately and consider what you had sit for is void, but the 2 rak'ahs are valid. You pray the 3rd rak'ah, you offer tashahhud, offer salam, and offer prostration after the salam, and offer it once again. Do we have time for 2 more questions? Wallahi, they say we don't have. Unfortunately, this is all the time we have until we meet you next time, but hopefully in Jeddah. I leave you fi amanillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Allah is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate